Hello boxing news fans, welcome to my channel. I hope your day was fantastic. Before we start, kindly like and subscribe to the video. Avila Perspective, Chap, 324. Ryan Garcia leads 3 days in May battles. They're fighting on the streets of New York again. Ryan King Ray Garcia leads 6 of the best crack shots in boxing under 30 in New York City on Friday, May 2. It begins a 3-day event that moves to Saudi Arabia on Saturday, then Las Vegas on Sunday. 3 targets. A number of the best promoters in the sport of boxing are combining forces for Ring Magazine's Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. Times Square is target 1. Garcia, 24-1, 20 cause, returns from a 1-year suspension to face Rolly Romero, 16-2, 13 cause, a powerhouse. They meet during the main event. Garcia has demonstrated nearly otherworldly explosive power and speed since removing his amateur helmet. The New York Athletic Commission overturned his destruction of Devin Haney last year, but what viewers witnessed cannot be erased. His dad likes to talk a lot, said Garcia of Haney. That's what got his son beat the first time. Now he faces Romero, whose years ago sparring superiority caused a furor when it happened. But sparring and fighting are distinctly different. Now there will be millions watching and future earnings at stake. This fight was destined to happen. I called it. I knew it was gonna be at 147 pounds and be one of the biggest fights in boxing history, said Romero, a 2-division champion. Then you had Haney, 31-0, 15 KOs, who got his loss in the ring removed by the commission, but now faces former 2-time champion Jose Carlos Ramirez, 29-2, 18 KOs, in a welterweight showdown. It's a compelling match. Styles make fights. He does a lot of good things and a lot of bad things in there. It's my job to go in there and handicap him of the good things he does and exploit the bad things, said Haney of Ramirez. Ramirez recently lost his last match and has a history of problems making weight. This fight will not be at 140 pounds, but 5 pounds heavier. I owe it to myself to show up and move up into a bigger weight class. I think that's going to do wonders for me, Ramirez said. I'm preparing for the best Devin Haney. That's the guy I want to beat. I want that challenge. A super lightweight battle between New York's Teofimo Lopez, 21-1, 13 KOs, and California's Arnold Barboza, 32-0, 11 KOs, might be a Rubik's Cube battle or a blast of nitro. Both are highly skilled and master craftsmen in a prize ring. We're going to go out there and do what I have to do. I'm going to have fun and beat the brick out of this boy, said Lopez, one of the local fighters who now lives and trains on the West Coast. Barboza, a Los Angeles native, has knocked off several top contenders in remaining undefeated. This is the toughest opponent of my career, said Barboza, who bested England's Jack Catterall and fellow Californian Jose Carlos Ramirez. I'm gonna punch him in the mouth and see what happens. 6 of the best American fighters under 30 are slugging it out on Times Square. It probably hasn't been done since Boss Tweed. Day 2. Riyadh. Super middleweight champions Saul Canelo Alvarez, 62-22, 39 KOs, and William Skull, 23-0, 9 KOs, meet on Saturday, May 3, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's an extension of Ring Magazine's event on Friday and presented by Riyadh Season. DAZN will stream the event on pay-per-view. Another world title match pits Badu Jack, 28-33, 17 KOs, versus Norer Michaeljan, 27-12 KOs, for the WBC Cruiser World title. Also, a return match between Mexico's Jaime Munguia, 44-2, 35 KOs, and France's Bruno Suarez, 26-02, 5 KOs, in a super middleweight fight. Day 3. Las Vegas. Immensely talented Naoya Monster Inoue of Japan returns to Las Vegas to showcase his fighting skills to an American audience. It's been nearly 4 years since Inoue appeared in Las Vegas and demonstrated why many experts and fans called him the best fighter pound for pound on the planet. The best. I'm excited about everything, said Inoue about the opportunity to fight in front of an American audience once again. Inoue, 29-0, 26 KOs. Defends the undisputed Super Bantamweight Championship against a little-known banger from San Antonio, Texas, named Raymond Dinamita Cardenas, 26-1, 14 KOs. ESPN will televise the Don't dismiss Cardenas casually. He is co-promoted by Samson Lukowitz, who knows a thing or two about signing little-known sluggers such as Manny Pacquiao, Marcos Maidana, and female undisputed champ Gabriela Fundora. Cardenas trains with brothers Joel and Antonio Diaz in Indio, California, and rumor has it has been cracking on the Uzbeks, who are pretty rough and tumble. Of course, the monster is another matter. Inu has fought many of the best smaller weight fighters such as Luis Neri, Stephen Fulton, and the great Nonito Donaire, and swept them aside with his combination of speed, power, and skill. "I'm always going for the knockout," Inu said. Cardenas always goes for the knockout too. 2 bangers in Las Vegas. That's what prize fighting is all about. "I hope to enjoy the whole atmosphere in the fight," said Inu. "Also, it's my first time fighting in the T-Mobile Arena." Co-feature: WBO featherweight champion Rafael Espinoza, 26-0, 22 KOs. Of Mexico defends against Edward Vasquez, 17-2, 4 KOs. Of Texas. This will be Espinoza's 3rd defense of the world title. Espinoza could be Inu's next opponent if the Japanese legend decides to move up another weight division. Also on the fight card will be Emiliano Vargas, Raiz Alim, and others. Fights to watch, all times Pacific time. George Garcia has a lot in common with Mexican countryman Emmanuel Navarrete and Rafael Espinoza. In common with those two, both reigning world title holders, Garcia is big for his weight class and bubbled out of obscurity with a triumph forged as a heavy underdog in a match contested on American soil. Garcia had his coming-of-age party on April 19 in the first boxing event at the new Frontwave Arena in Oceanside, California, roughly 35 miles north of San Diego, a 7,500-seat facility whose primary tenant is an indoor soccer team. It was a Golden Boy Promotions event, and in the opposite corner was a Golden Boy fighter, Charles Conwell. Conwell, a former United States Olympian, was undefeated, 21-0, 16 KOs, and had won 3 straight inside the distance since signing with Golden Boy, whose public relations department touted him as the most avoided boxer in the super welterweight class. Conwell was a 12 firsts favorite on certain popular betting services. The lanky Garcia was 32-4, 26 KOs, coming in, but it was easy to dismiss him because he had fought extensively in Tijuana, where the boxing commission is notoriously docile, and his native state of Sinaloa. This would only be his 2nd bout in the United States. However, it is worth noting in retrospect that 3 of his 4 losses were by split decision. Garcia versus Conwell was a robust affair. He and Conwell were credited with throwing 1451 punches combined. In terms of punches landed, there was little to choose between them, but the CompuBox operator saw Garcia landing more power punches in 8 of the 12 rounds. At the end, the verdict was split, but there was no controversy. An interested observer was Sebastian Fundora, who was there to see his sister Gabriela defend her world flyweight titles. Sebastian owns 2 pieces of the 154-pound world title, where the number 1 contender per the WBO is Sander Zayas, who keeps winning, but not with the verve of his earlier triumphs. With his upset of Charles Conwell, George Garcia has been bumped into the WBO's number 2 slot. Regardless of who he fights next, Garcia will earn the biggest payday of his career. Honorable mention: Aaron McKenna. McKenna was favored to beat veteran campaigner Liam Smith in the co-feature to the Eubank Bend battle this past Saturday in London, but he was stepping up in class against a former world title holder who had competed against some of the top dogs in the middleweight division and who had famously stopped Chris Eubank in the first of their 2 encounters. Moreover, the venue, Tottenham Hotspur, the 3rd largest soccer stadium in England, favored the 36-year-old Liverpudlian, who was accustomed to a big fight atmosphere, having fought Canelo Alvarez before 50,000 plus at Arlington Stadium in Texas. McKenna, from the small town of Monaghan, Ireland, wasn't overwhelmed by the occasion. Kindly keep checking out and subscribing to my VSR Media channel.